right, so I'm Victoria Guido, and I work for Blackstone Federal. Today I'm going to talk about the value of diversity and inclusion to DevOps. Now, I don't want to say that if you hire a specific type of person, you'll have DevOps. That's not how it works, right? We all know that. But why is it that teams that have a higher level of diversity think better, are more creative, and solve problems better? And the reason behind it is the psychology of how our brains work, right? So everything in your personal background and who you are as a person, where you went to school, you formed a sort of algorithm that helps you approach problems. So that's what goes into everything about a way that you think. So if you have someone else who has a different approach, a different background, a different history, they have a different algorithm. And the more different algorithms you have to come up with to solve these problems, you'll be better. You'll have more thoughts, more brain power. And diversity isn't just gender or race. There's a lot of different dimensions to diversity that it's important to keep in mind. So you might look around your organization and think, well, we don't have that much diversity. But there are some aspects that are invisible, things that have to do with physical ability, mental ability, their school, everything like that. So my proposal today is that diversity is a lagging indicator of overall cultural health. So if you're hiring and you're retaining diverse people, that means you have an inclusive environment where people feel their thoughts and ideas are valued. So some examples from my own personal experience. On myself, I have a big background in government and big banks, so I know a lot about bureaucracy and process, and I think diversity in DevOps adds another layer here. So we all have different backgrounds, exposures to people, different processes, different technology, and that adds another layer and dimension to it. So you might have a big background in Linux, someone else might have a big background in Windows, and that's important. So for me, there are certain facts that I know from my background that helps me approach any given set of problems, regardless of whatever technology we're using. So 80% of errors come from change. 75% of projects fail to poor requirements. It's called Agile. They have a whole industry around it. And 99% of problems come from power cycling your machine. And if you're not that technical and you're like, what's power cycling? It's turning it off and on again. So don't question me on these facts. I just know them to be true. Right? So I have a friend who works at a startup, does Windows security automation, something or other, and he was trying to install the latest version of his release, and he was trying it on all different cloud providers, on all different VMs, and he couldn't figure out why it wasn't working. So he finally talked to me, and I said, well, if it worked before and it doesn't work now, what changed? Probably something changed. So maybe he went back to his CTO, and sure enough, he had changed something in the instructions of how to install the software. So we've all seen commit messages. We know how important they are in DevOps. If you want to know what changed, maybe it's just, So work with people to figure out what is the change, what just happened. So the whole thing is to say that if you see someone who's, maybe you think they're a little bit weird or different, you should think, oh, that person might be really valuable to me. How can I make them feel more comfortable and more included, make sure that they know that their opinion is valued here? But from working at Blackstone Federal, I do have a disclaimer. This is not easy. It is actually very hard. And you should probably pay a professional of some kind to help you with your diversity and inclusion efforts. So we changed a lot of things. We changed our interview process. We changed our performance management process. We changed the colors and pictures all over our office. And we had a lot of mistakes. And we overcame them. We worked to fix them. And we invested in myself and a few other people to help us do that. So today I wanted to share some resources that you might be able to leverage in your companies and organization and personally to help you grow. First up is Venny with Diversify Tech. Go to diversifytech.co and you can find people who are actively looking for work that you can hire right today. You can also post jobs there. You can find other links to other resources in your area. Another two great speakers I'm going to talk about, April Wenzel, who talks about compassionate coding and bringing empathy and ethics into the technology sector. Definitely check her out. She can come do a training for your organization, or you can just read her blog and find out great insights. Next is Better Allies. This is a really great place to start. No one gets annoyed at you for just reading a book, so go read a book. Really great practical advice for how to start being more inclusive in your day-to-day life. And two communities that we have partnered with that have really helped us a lot. Number one is Black Code Collective. They're a local DC meetup group, and you can just email the organizers and say, hey, you have a meetup coming up. Can I come? I'm trying to hire more people. I'm really interested in this topic. Is that okay? You can also sponsor their meetup. You can also sponsor Women Who Code. I'm a director, so you can talk to me. we're looking for spaces, we're looking for people to buy food, people to buy drinks. That's a really healthy way to get engaged with these networks that are a little bit maybe different than your normal networks. So that's it. I think we...